Winston Peters declines to rate Christopher Luxon's performance as Prime Minister. You know that feeling when your coworker asks if you like their new haircut, and you just smile and say, it's, a choice. Well, Ryan Bridge basically asked Winston Peters to rate Christopher Luxon's performance as Prime Minister. And when he hit him with the political equivalent of, "Oh, would you look at the time?" Peters actually said, and I quote, "You didn't seriously think I was going to give you an answer to that question, did you?" Honestly, that non-answer might be the most honest thing we've heard from a politician all year. What's up, New Zealand? Welcome back to NZ Political Insights, where we break down the chaos so you don't have to. Let's get into it. So here's what went down. Winston Peters, Foreign Minister, NZ First Leader, and man who has been in politics longer than some of us have been alive, sat down with Herald NOW's Ryan Bridge. Bridge asks the simple question, how's Luxon doing as PM?
And Peters? He doesn't just dodge, he matrix dodges. He said he won't answer because, get this, he's in a coalition and trying to make it work. He went on about how stability is critically important and the public wants a stable government. Now, if that sounds like corporate HR speak for "I'm not about to put that in writing," congratulations, you're paying attention. But here's where it gets spicy. When Bridge pointed out that Peters could have just, said something nice, Peters fired back, "You didn't ask the question for that outcome," then dropped the line of the century, "This is not my first rodeo." Folks, when a 79-year-old political veteran tells you he's been at this rodeo before, believe him. The man has seen more prime ministers come and go than most of us have seen governments. Peters also teased that he'll give his verdict on the state of play next year, specifically after the first quarterly economic announcement. Translation? He's keeping receipts, and he'll cash them in when the numbers tell the story he wants. Now, you might be thinking, come on, this is just Winston being Winston. Classic media games. And sure, maybe, but let's rewind to just 3 weeks ago. Luxon posts on X from the East Asia Summit, standing there linking arms with Southeast Asian leaders, looking very prime ministerial. The caption? "I've just done a deal with Southeast Asian nations." I've just done a deal. Singular, solo, just me and my good mates in Malaysia. Winston's official foreign minister account, the one that handles, foreign affairs, reshared that post with one word, "we." That's it, just "we," with those ominous trailing dots, like a disappointed parent who doesn't even need to yell anymore. The post was deleted faster than you can say coalition tension, and Peters' team claimed he was unaware of the circumstances. Sure. The foreign minister was totally unaware his official account was throwing shade at the prime minister over a trade deal. Happens all the time, very normal coalition behavior. Look, Peters might not want to rate Luxon publicly, but the polls have no such filter. Luxon's net approval rating has tanked to -14, his worst since becoming PM. The Ipsos Issues Monitor rated the government's performance at 3.9 out of 10. Nearly half of respondents gave the coalition a score between 0 and 3. And here's the kicker. In the annual Mood of the Boardroom survey, the one where business leaders rate ministers, Luxon, the former Air New Zealand CEO, scored 15th out of 28 portfolio holders.
You want to know who ranked second? Winston Peters at 3.82 out of 5. So when Winston refuses to rate Luxon, maybe it's because his business mates already did, and the comparison isn't exactly flattering for the PM. The classic Kiwi move, if you can't say something nice, just smile and talk about fairies instead. Here's the thing about coalition governments. They're like flatmates who signed a lease together. You have to make it work, even when someone keeps leaving dishes in the sink and claiming credit for cleaning the bathroom. Peters called Luxon's interest in asset sales a tawdry, silly argument just last week. He said National had failed to run the economy properly. These aren't subtle diplomatic disagreements. This is airing dirty laundry on morning radio. And Luxon's response? Basically, Winston's been here 50 years, he has lots of opinions, whatever. That's the coalition energy right now. Two partners who need each other for the numbers, but aren't exactly picking out curtains together. But here's what's clever about Peters' strategy. By not rating Luxon, by staying above the fray, while occasionally dropping those pointed little corrections, he gets to differentiate NZ First from National without blowing up the government. If things go well, he's a team player who helped deliver stability. If things go badly, he warned us. He kept his own counsel. He's got that speech ready for next year. So what does Winston Peters refusing to rate Luxon actually tell us? It tells us the coalition is holding, but with duct tape, not super glue. It tells us Peters is already positioning for 2026, keeping his options open and his powder dry. And it tells us that in New Zealand politics, sometimes what you don't say is louder than any speech. Peters said he wants to make the coalition work, but he also said this isn't his first rodeo. And folks, in rodeo terms, I think Winston's just waiting to see if Luxon gets bucked off before he decides whether to cheer or hand him a bandage. That's it for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm more than you know. Subscribe to NZ Political Insights so you never miss an update on the chaos that is Kiwi politics. Drop a comment below. Do you think Winston's playing 4D chess, or is this coalition running on borrowed time? I want to hear